Notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been met by transmitting the notice of the regular meeting to the Commissioner's official newspaper on January 30th, 2020, and revised on November 19th, 2020, posting the notice where required and filing a copy of the notice with the Commission clerk. The Deal Lake Commission workshop meeting will be audio and videotaped and will be shown on APTV, Optimum 77, and throughout most of Monmouth County on FiOS 30.
I just got to deal with this, sorry.
Oh, is that?
Okay.
Alan
Let me
Hurst?
share my.
Oh,
Hello?
hi, is Alan Hurst? Oh, there's Eric.
It only took 15 minutes to get on.
Yeah, we had a little. I had some problems getting on. Sorry, it's my fault.
So Alan Hurst and Steele are in here, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Since this is not an official meeting, we're just
Right.
doing a workshop.
Yeah.
We're going to get ready.
Go ahead, Don.
Okay. You're done with the preamble, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming. We're not getting official comments from the public tonight, but you can from the website, make comments. Also, if you want to chat and send us chat information, you can do that. But next meeting you could voice your opinion, or just go to the website. You get to the Deal Lake website. You get right to the Deal Lake website. Here, where's Deal Lake? And on the inside, you have to turn a while with contacts. You go right down here. You can send it your email, and we do get this immediately. So if you have a question, you can use that or the chats feature of the Zoom. Okay. Let me get back to the agenda. So I wrote this up. The commission, you guys have this. The commissioners have this, and we're just a list 25 things or 24 things and other, and I'll go through it quickly and then we don't necessarily have to talk to them about right away, but I want you to add, if you got anything to add or anything to discuss, we'll go item by item, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on each item. But these are the items, a lot of them we've been working, and there's some new ones here. There's a couple I got over the week, so I added those, and we'll just go through them, okay? The first one is obviously, finish up the flume electrification completion, right? It's almost done. We have a few things to do, and I'm hoping by the end of the year it'll be done. But it's in great shape. If you haven't been down there, go take a peek down there, and we're definitely gonna have a ribbon cutting of some type. Hopefully, when COVID gets a little bit less, and opening there and do our dedication to the surge chamber. Whose name. Hardware installation, MTDs, and the Green Infrastructure 319 grant. We're well on the way. We awarded the MTDs, and the whole idea here is we want to get things. That kickoff meeting is going to be coming shortly, and we're going to include Asbury Park in that, their engineering team and the town manager, and because the big dig is it's around Sunset Lake, two locations and one on Memorial. But that's going real well. The green infrastructure is going great with Wesley, so that's one of the top topics for the year. That'll be going on all year, I'm sure. It might extend to the next year. Update the living master plan. The master plan's got to be updated because a lot of things we've done, which is wonderful. That's one thing we could do this year. Education, public in towns. I like to go around each town with each commissioner and probably on Zoom or some other remote access and give a similar picture we provided Asbury a while back. We just gave one to Interlake, and that would be nice to do. So that's on the checklist for this year. Help out NJIT. They won that 319 award for $500,000. They're going to have a blue-green algae eating machines in the next year or two. So that's going to be on the list for the next 2 years probably. A close relationship with the CloudNet testing people from Monmouth University and expand our collaboration. That's an ongoing event we've been working with. Clean Ocean Action, this is a 3-year relationship, and it's going to expand. And I think next meeting we have them on the agenda to talk in early December. Expand the Deal Lake Watershed Alliance collaborations. I'd love to do a lot more with those guys. And they're working the rain garden right now over by Middlebrook. And you guys want to chime in anytime, you can. I mean, that's fine. Feel free on the topic. Clean Ocean, okay. Expand the DLW. Monmouth County assistance. I haven't bugged Monmouth County in a long while because of the COVID situations. And I'll be honest with you.
Am I muted?
What's that?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. The Monmouth County, we had a really good relationship with Monmouth County, Tom Arnone and his staff. And I really been hands off. Sunset Bridge, they cleaned up pretty well, but there's a lot of little issues around the bridges and the drains. Jeannie knows that on Asbury Avenue. And really, we got to get back, ask them to do things around the lake.
In that regard too, Don, I would like to mention that I'd like this year for us to explore ways to better utilize the Monmouth County Shared Service Program towards small projects like Fireman's Pond and other areas that need debris removed, to do raking. And I don't know which machine is used for that. I know it's been used before, but to find out and what kind of support and equipment is available to the DLC from Monmouth County Shared Service Program.
Yeah, there's a bunch, and it's going to be in cooperation with probably Ocean Township, because the 4 main ponds west of Wickapecka are the ones, and we're going to talk about them a little bit later. They're the ones who really need the tender loving care. And Monmouth County is going to be heavily involved with that help, because they own the bridges.
Right. I'd just like to, I think it would be good just to have, a better interaction with them, rather than just.
Jeannie, we have a real good. That's not a problem. It's just that we have to get our ducks in a row, literally, not ducks, and make it happen. So, Pond to Lollipop Pond, Hollow Brook, and also Fireman's Pond. They can help out in each one of those little areas.
Right.
Do they have a vacuum truck?
I believe it. I'm sure they do.
Well, that's what I'm talking. I'm glad you asked that, because that's what I'm talking about. I think it would be good to that's what I meant by explore ways to use them. Let's find out what they have. And so that way we can begin to think about how they can help us.
That would be great, because small towns can't buy a vacuum truck. So we've got to kind of pool our resources.
Yeah, exactly. They have a shared service program, but it's not real specific in terms of what kinds of equipment they have. But I think it's worth, us, whoever wants to tackle that this year, to do that and explore that.
We do have a shared service agreement with them, so that's a sign. I think we renew it every year, right, Jesse?
I think it's good now until 2025.
Yeah, because the one big long arm, boom arms, that we really wanted for organic removal, and also by the flume, if we have major pile up for debris. We haven't had it for that, but if they're available if necessary. So, I wrote that down. I'll add that to the list. Absolutely. Thank you. Nobility credit solution. We're still on top of that. We're going to be sending them a letter shortly, and we'll talk about that next meeting. But that's on the list. We'll forget about that.
I'm going to interject again on that. If I'd like to say this about that. I'd like to see us put together a process for dealing with lake offenders like them, and put a clear process in place with steps and contacts for the DLC to deal proactively with these flagrant offenders. So when something happens, we're not scrambling around trying to, when something egregious occurs, we have a process in place.
We're not an enforcement agency.
I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is that we develop a process for who do we contact, what do we do? And I think that's part of it, is using not our we have no enforcement ability, but who do we contact? We don't know what the process is. Like, everybody's running around calling this person and that person. And I think it's
Jeannie,
good.
Jeannie, we kind of know the process. We do know.
Well, how about if we put it, how it's clear for everybody, so we all know what that process is.
Jeannie, stop, please. It's right on the front page of the website. It's 1-800-4DEP. That's the #1 call center. If there's a problem with the lake, that's where you call. And then it flows down to the municipalities. Now, obviously, if it's some kind of construction project, you call the construction office in the town. And that's really the responsibility of each of us in the commission as commissioners, right? If we have a problem with a particular section, if it's our town, we make the phone call. Unfortunately, it's been a lot of Ocean Township and a few Interlakens, right? And that's how we got to handle it. It's
Okay,
really,
Don, I understand what you're saying, but I think it's just too general. I think if we know what procedures we go through, you know, if it's contractors, if it, whatever it is, I just think it's, when these things happen, they happen fast. And if we have a process in place and we know who to contact, not just an 800 number, but what are we going to do about this, you know, and how can we get this documented so that we can deal with it? You know, if we have a procedure and we go through it each time, whenever something happens, that's what I'm suggesting.
bad actor action, right? Is that what you're saying? Bad actor actionless.
Yeah, a process, you know, a little, like a little
it's not gonna be-
checklist. Okay.
Well, again, you're an enforcement agency. We are only a lake.
I know we're not. I know we're not. That's
So
not
we
what
gotta
I'm
make it-
suggesting.
But we got to keep it very simple because we're not full-time people, and we have to. And our part-time, in our professional staff's part-time, so we don't have a
Yeah.
lot of resources.
Right, but
We have to
we can break up the load. I'm, you know, that I wouldn't mind taking that on to put a process if somebody else wants to work with me. I think part of this is what we're doing tonight. Might be a good idea to start thinking about ways to break up the workload amongst the commissioners.
Like, Jeannie, if you would like to write that down, please present it to us, okay? And let's talk about it, not next meeting, but it'll be the February meeting, because we got a lot of stuff to do. Next meeting, a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
You're good on that?
Yep.
Okay. Geese remediation. You know, we're working with our sister lakes around here. Wesley Lake has done a great job with this. And we did a pretty good job with the coatings, the materials, and following up on the nest. I think we did a great job on that last year. I think everybody got involved with that. So we'll just continue that and expand it. And I have a proposal probably for February meeting to put lights in the back channel, the back lakes, to eliminate geese sitting. So the lights seem to be working on Leslie.
Mhm.
So hopefully we can incorporate our lake. And I'm going to ask the Watershed Alliance to help out with that too. Okay, so that's carp remediation popped up on the radar the other day with the lake summit, and you know we really got to get more remediation of carp. That's one of our big problems with blue-green algae and everything else. The sediment load in the lake, the turbidity, the geese have a major cause of this problems. So we're going to try to work that.
Could I bring something up real quick? Geese
Sure.
remediation. Okay, just that one. I put out a little. Ken, if you could help me with that, please.
By the way,
The geese.
I think
remediation.
Wesley Lake is doing the same process that Sunset Lake's doing. They're hiring geese chasers to chase the geese away. So.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
so
What?
just scrolling down to number 2. Yeah, right there, number 2. I think it's great to deal with this. It's an important issue, and that it would be a good thing to explore our best options and develop universal and best practice strategies. We need to find out what are the best strategies. Right now, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I get is we're thinking these strategies are the best, and it might be that we spend a little time before we start putting money into things to find out which are the most effective methods. And I put goose or the egg, because if I brought up at other meetings, you know, do we deal with the eggs, the goose, which, you know,
I think
maybe we do both, but, you know, I think it's important to find out what works best before we start going after different approaches. Does
I
that make
think-
sense?
Annie, I think it's all hands on deck, all processes are in place. I think it's a 3-phase attack on the geese this year. We did 2 last year. We didn't do the lights, but we did the coating on the materials in Asbury and in Colonial Terrace, and it worked when they put it down. We didn't do it twice. We only did it once. It worked really, really well. And then we had the egg treatment, and that worked really well too. So we know those 2 work. And then the lights, Westerly is doing real good with them. They did a lot of investigation. I got a quote from the company on all those 4 lakes, not the main lake, the 4 back lakes. And that's where we had the biggest problem, was in the back lakes. There was geese all over Wickapecker last year, except at Terrace, all by the Nick's Pizzeria and by Fireman's Pond. They were all over the place. Interlaken had them, and then Lock Harbor has them too.
Yes,
That's
is
all.
Melanie Nolan on the call on this meeting? Because she wants to be involved with that.
Yeah,
So if I could, to number 3, just because it's all part of the same thing, everything that we're talking
Sure.
about, not down to 3. All these things that we're talking about, I think we can start to break up workloads, maybe to plan some work sessions to tackle these issues, because we don't have the time to develop and work out strategies during our monthly meetings. To me, it makes sense that we dedicate time via work sessions for things like this. And
can have
like you
some-
say, somebody wants to work on this section, somebody else wants to work on this idea, and
Sure.
that's great. So, but we need time, we need work sessions to do it, since legally we can't meet, in like groups of 3 or 4. We're not allowed to do that, but we can set aside work sessions to tackle particular goals. Does that make sense?
it makes sense. I mean, for new projects, I agree with you. But the geese, I'd be honest with you, I think geese is pretty well known. We've been working with the other lakes for 2 years now. So I think we got that pretty much down. We can talk about it further, but I want to kind of move on, okay? Because we have limited time. Okay, Let me keep rolling. I got what you're saying. Geese is definitely on the list. And to be honest with you, carp is one of my favorite subjects. So, we're going to need a lot of hands-on on both if we're going to have a successful result, okay? What happened to my chart here? Let me get back here. Okay, here we go. Fish stocking. I want to keep on talking to DEP. They've been real good about stocking fish. I want to keep that up for the year. Working with the Ocean Township Police Department and Deal Police and the Marine Police. The Ocean Township in discussions with Marine Police on boating enforcement, because we had a whole bunch of incidents this year with jet skiers, and I know exactly who they are. So we're trying to work that behind the scenes, and I don't think we're going to have too many problems in that group of jet skiers anymore, but we'll see. I'll get more information. Probably in February, March, we'll have more information on that. Seaview Mall stormwater improvements. I mean, that's kind of at number 16, but it's pretty high on the list in terms of what we need to do, because we can't fix Terrace Pond or even the main lake until we fix that. So hopefully we can tackle that. Next on the list, Middlebrook, Harvey Brook stormwater improvements. There's a dam back there that Peter has plans for, replacing. That would be something maybe we could talk about to the DEP when we talk to them in a week or so, and just float that boat and see if that. What do you think about it, Pete?
Next week.
Is Pete still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think of that? Bringing the dam subject up again.
We can certainly, investigate that. But the determination from the DEP at the time was that it was not able to receive a permit. So we would have to really start all over again.
And be honest with you, it's more than just that location. The way I see it is you also have to have a flood study all the way up the stream. You agree? Up to 18, right?
Perhaps, but this particular project was focused on the concrete spillway structure and the earthen dam, which had failed.
Right.
We have all the
That's
documents for it. We have a backwater analysis. We have the engineering justification. The thing that's missing is the ability to reconstruct the earthen dam, and we could not get a permit.
Right. And if nobody knows where that's the end of Roselle and Wickapecker. where
Walk
they
into the
come
woods.
together.
Yeah.
It's in the woods. You actually see it right now. It's very visible with the leaves on
Yeah,
it.
but honestly, I don't think unless there's changes made to the Freshwater Wetland Act, we're gonna get we're gonna be allowed to restore that dam. I mean, Peter did a considerable amount of work doing, backwater analyses and all kind of other stuff. We did borings on the freaking thing, and DEP dug their heels in and said no because of loss of wetlands.
I got
I
it.
mean, we
Okay.
could-
Then we have,
You can go after it again, but I don't know. I think I wouldn't put a lot of faith into that happening.
okay. Can't hurt to ask them. Can't hurt to ask.
No, it can't hurt to ask.
That's all. We only have one strike on ourselves, right? I think we get 3 strikes. All right. And be honest, there's other opportunities upstream too to slow the water down. We're limited. I know Ocean Tash owns some land on 35, and I think they own some land up by 18. I think so. That's a possibility. Coke plant opportunities. Yeah, we have the Coke plant renovations coming on soon, and we got to keep our eyes this year for that. I know he's got his eyes and ears open on that because he's on the planning board in Neptune. So that'll be good when that we should have some input. Peter definitely have input, and I assume Eric will have some input on that. Retreeing the watershed. I'm telling you, this is one of my pet peeves. There's so many trees either falling down or getting cut down. And I like all of us to work with our shade tree commissions and see if we can convince them to start retreeing around, work with neighbors or whatever, and putting more hardwood trees up that we're losing. We're losing tons of them. So if we can help out anyway, or get grant money for that. Is there any grant money?
One of the things too, Don, like you're talking about people cutting down trees. Remember just a couple months ago, they put it, well, not just a few months, but they put a tree ordinance in place in, was it Interlaken that did it? Which town?
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be something to push forward in each of the municipalities to pass tree ordinances like Interlaken did. I would think that would be a great place to start.
It's tough to enforce. It's
I know.
It's tough to enforce.
Yeah,
I think we should definitely partner with the Shade Tree Commission on something like that
yeah.
and see if we can get some grant money to do replenishment, but it's easier to do on land shoreline land where we can do that versus private land.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
missed number 11.
One of the things, hey, Don, one of the things you can remember is that Bruce Fromer crafted an ordinance that we sent to all of our member towns requesting their adoption. I don't know if it was adopted by any of the towns. So that's something that we should reinvestigate if you want to pursue that.
Okay.
I think so too. I agree.
That for the lake, around the lake?
Yes, specifically for around the lake, fallen tree ordinance.
Oh, it's fallen trees. Okay. Oh, fallen trees. I got you.
But
Well, I'm
not for
talking about-
cutting trees. This is to
You
save
can,
like mature trees.
you can initiate it and maybe massage it a little bit to include whatever you want to.
Great.
Okay.
Don, I sent you a copy of Interlaken's ordinance, correct?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's up on their website. I saw
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But Peter, can you send the tree ordinance? Do you happen to have that?
No.
Bruce probably has. We'll ask Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll ask. But the other thing we're talking about was with the DEP next week is, what the rules are. You got a 50-foot buffer zone along the lake. What's controlled. There's all kinds of exceptions. But there's some big trees being cut down along the lake. And my fear is some of these beautiful areas that we have are going to get chopped down in the next coming months or years. So I'm almost tempted to say we should have a moratorium on cutting trees within that 50-foot buffer until we get the DEP's ruling on that and maybe inform the towns. I don't think the towns know. I know a couple tree guys know that rule, but not all the trees guys know that rule. Burke Environmental, I talked to them today and I just mentioned it to him. He goes, "Oh yeah, you can't cut trees in that zone."
No, A lot of it's happening in the backwaters, which are going to be the first places to fill up with silt when the shoreline erodes.
Right. Good point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big, like number 11, by the way, we are meeting with the DEP on the 24th, 4 of us. And we're going to have a session with them. I'm sure it's going to expand. We're going to have more meetings with them, but it's our first introductory meeting with the folks. And we're just trying to figure out the rules and regulations that apply, how they get. So we have some really good, discussions between Pete and myself. Hopefully we can bring back some good news in December's meeting. Okay. Weed control planning, we got to continue that, talk about that in the new year. Stormwater compliant, great push. One of my pet peeves, I have a little memo to deal already. We wrote, and they had their non-compliance issues there that they're hopefully going to correct. And a lot of towns, they're not the road department upgrade to do the grates. I sure would love to have the grates with temporary covers, at least along the lake sections. So we talked to the mayor. He was more willing, but I think, is that correct, Al?
Yes.
He just had to find them. So I'm even willing to pay for them. I mean, if we could talk about that and find out costs and maybe provide them as long as they install them, right? Would that be okay?
And maybe we tandem that onto some kind of a shared services, storm draining, cleaning, so that this cleaning happens and then the grates go on.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's another one. Cleaning the drains. Now, I'm not sure how to do that fairly, right? Because some towns give a lot of money, some towns, it's going to have to be an allocation of grates, right?
Right.
Suppose you get so many, only get so many. Yeah.
I wonder if there's grant money available for something like that.
It would be great if we can get grant money for that. I mean, we get an annual budget for above and beyond with our 50,000 we get from the towns. We get money to do.
It's pretty much a once and done once they're on.
Right. Well, yeah,
Right.
until they
Cleaning them
pave the street.
or triannual cleaning of inside the grate. I don't think you have
Right.
to clean them every year.
But,
I don't think
you may, as far as the grates are concerned, you may be able to, like, through one of the environmental commissions, the commission couldn't do it on its own, but, maybe through ANJEC, they issued small grants to environmental commissions. ANJEC is the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions, and I'm on the board of trustees. So, it couldn't be something that the commission itself went after, but one of the municipalities, their environmental commission could try to get a grant. They're not
I
big.
got you.
Yeah,
Not big, but
something to start, seed money.
yeah, seed money.
American Water Works also gives grants. The water
So,
company?
New Jersey American?
New Jersey American.
Jersey.
Yeah.
okay, so that's another thing, maybe some commissioners would want to take that on, to getting grants.
Did I hear Carol on that one?
Can we back up a minute to weed control? I just have one question. We have, Steve produced an RFP, right? So we're gonna have that and to vote on that in December, yes?
I don't know if I saw it. Do we have it, Jesse?
Steve, you
We were
submitted
gonna-
an RFP for weed control.
Right, it's just the RFP, but it hasn't gone out. You guys have to.
We have to approve it.
We have
Right.
to review it and we can vote on it for January.
Right,
January?
Yes.
and that's plenty of time.
Yeah.
That's more than enough time.
That is good.
We don't know who's going to be on the commission next year, so we have to, once we swear everybody in at our January meeting.
That's
then
true.
That's business for 2021.
True statement. Okay. We got that. Thank you, Steve. And Jesse, you have that, right?
Yes,
You have that?
yes.
We'll have to send it. We can talk about it next meeting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. We authorized it at the last meeting.
Yeah, we did. That's why
So
I thought we were moving
One-
forward on it.
one, has been on a while, or has been on a list. We got to try to minimize the sand blowing from Lock Harbor into the lake in the East End. It's been a problem for years, decades probably. But we're closer. It's a big improvement, but we need a little bit more fencing. And Margot and I are talking about that. And I know she's already talked to her husband about it. So
Yes, there's already an email to Village Hall and everything. Yes.
Yeah. So that could be good. And I did talk to the mayor of Asbury today, and he said basically talk to the town manager, and if there's any cooperation needed, they can work it out.
Yeah, I spoke to her yesterday and she's all for it. And I told you, we also spoke to Robert Bianchini, who has ideas for fencing and other kinds of things. So he can meet with us next week if you want to do that, Don.
Yeah, it's going to be LA. LA is going to be working it with. I'll help them out. I mean, we can work with it. But I think we're going in the right direction. So it's good.
Yeah.
Stormwater compliant grades. We talked about that. Expanded education in schools. I mean, we've done some work with Deal. I think some and a little bit in Asbury, but I did a whole bunch in Deal a while back. Unfortunately, I guess we got to wait for the COVID situation to be over. But I wanted to put that on the list as something we can do. Maybe we could Zoom with some schools over the year, right? Some science classrooms or that.
Or even, that's a good idea. And also the things with, like what we did last year with Steve's suggestion to have students make posters. Maybe, I'm
Right.
sure they're going to have that again this year, so we could do that. That's a good education project.
Or maybe we can bring Dr. Adolph in on that as well to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah. And Steve, you spoke last night when we were talking about environmental justice. You'd been involved with something recently, and I don't know if that would be appropriate for high school or not, but certainly would be something to educate the public about.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's a program. It's a big program that just got launched with the North American Lake Management Society, and I'm trying to get involved with it through what's called, what we're trying to call an urban lake initiative.
Mhm.
And they have what's called a JEDI program. I forget exactly what it's like justice, environment, something or other, but it's to, it's to really expand, diversity within NOMS, but in doing so, there's a push to, have these programs available for inner city youth or youth at risk.
Mhm.
And, lakes make a perfect setting for that type of thing. You can bring kids down to a lake, do some simple water testing, get them involved. And, as you know, urban lakes have a long history of environmental justice. So,
Yeah.
they've been used and abused. I mean, you see that in Deal Lake, in all the coastal lakes. So I'll keep you posted on that, but I'm trying to initiate on my end a subgroup through NOMS. I'm going to have a meeting hopefully on December the 18th to kind of kick the can down the road. But I'll keep you posted on that, how that moves along.
Yeah. I
But
think.
if you're interested in it, go onto the NOMS website and
Okay.
then look for their JEDI program. It'll give you a little bit more information what they're doing. In terms
Jedi,
of-
like the Star Wars Jedi?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, do share that with us when you get more information. I know a lot of us have an interest in getting our young people involved in urban youth, and they need that so much. So
Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on that for sure.
thank you.
Okay. And we'll continue our cleanups or buying cleanups. The last one was wonderful. We had about 35 people there, and it was great. And I know Margot worked with the Clean Ocean Action down. I got some Boy Scouts coming down on the Asbury Park side. They're going to be doing some Neptune over by Oxenia on Saturday, and they're going to work the shoreline from Lock Harbor, I guess Ocean Avenue, all the way over to Norwood Avenue.
When is that?
They're
when is
gonna,
that?
between 9 and 12, and I think Sunday between 9 and 12. So the first will work in the Neptune on Oxenia, and then they're going to come over to the Flume area and
Great.
work that short. It's a
Great.
mess, so they're gonna stuff up and take all those strings that are laying there.
Mhm.
That was on my list.
Oh,
John, how
yeah.
many pounds of trash did we get this last time? Do we know?
Yeah, it was about 1,000 pounds. It wasn't much.
Wow.
Half a. It wasn't.
There was a lot less.
a
There was
lot.
a lot less.
My beach sweep was a lot less, but it was all little tiny things that couldn't have been picked up except by human hands. So it was very successful in that way.
Yeah, I got 12 masks.
Did you? We had 42 altogether at my
Wow.
beach sweep.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
pretty sad
that-
for 7 blocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see them all over
Yeah,
the
the-
parking lots.
Yeah, the railroad tracks on one of in the Allenhurst side and also on the Asbury Park Interlake is we cleaned up. That was a lot of trash.
Yes,
And that
it was.
80 was right in that area. So it was a good take. Now, yeah, we're gonna the Oxenia place. I'll take some pictures. It's really horrendous over there. And right by that little church there on Oxenia, and there's the Hollow Brook gets stopped there at Asbury Avenue. All the trash gets stopped between that and ShopRite and up the hill. So sitting on 35, there's bowling lane. It all
I
heads
know.
down there, and then it shoots into Deal Lake once in a while.
Well, Don, you know that I've talked about that before. What's going on with that section of Ridge Avenue where they've never closed the drains, and they put new drains in and left the open holes right next to them?
That's on the Monmouth County. That's already on the list, Jeannie.
I know, but what's happened? You tell me that every time I ask. That's why I ask.
Nothing. I haven't bugged them, to be honest with you.
Hey,
I'll bug them.
Don, it's Peter. Just so
Yeah.
you know, on Oxonia, the little church you're referring to, the pastor of that church is the vice chairman of the Neptune Township Planning Board. Very interesting, former member of the Westby Lake Commission. Very
Wow.
interested in all the work.
Okay.
we do.
Does he live there, Peter? Next door?
Pardon me?
Does he live next door?
I don't know. Typically you could, but I'm not sure.
Well, if you tell me who to contact on, I'll take care of it. I'll make sure they know about it. I have lots of pictures of that.
I'll definitely, Jeannie, you got it. I'm going to give you a name. I have the guy's name.
Okay, send me his information.
That guy's in trouble, Jeannie.
Work on that. One other educational thing to remember, Don, remember we talked about, and I don't know if it's possible under the circumstances today, but we spoke of getting perhaps the engineering team from Asbury Park High School together with us to go out to the Sunset Lake Bridge.
Yep.
And have them view the manufactured treatment devices before, during, and after they're installed under the 319 grant.
Yep.
You're talking about the science team or the high school engineers,
The high
right?
school group.
Okay.
I don't know
Hey,
if that's
Jeannie?
possible.
Yeah,
You should-
is there engineering, Todd? I don't know. I can find out. Do
I've
they-
worked with them. I don't know
Oh,
if
you
it's.
have?
I did
Okay.
work with them.
So you need some help in reaching out to them? Is that?
I think
or
so.
you- Okay,
If you
I'll
could find-
find out.
Okay.
I'll find out
Because
for
we're-
you.
It's going to happen in the next 2 months, 3 months, I guess, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we have a little time, but it would be nice to coordinate it right now.
Yeah, I'll find out who's head of that department.
Because that's really digging a hole and dropping it in. It's not going to be it's going to be less than a week process to put those in, right, Pete? Each one?
Probably-
Can I
probably,
chime in for a second?
Sure.
It's Melanie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Melanie.
Oh, okay. All right. Things, Jeannie, you were talking about tree ordinances.
Yes.
One time we tried to get one in Lock Harbor and never made it, but I might have copies of other towns, like from all over the state. I'll see if I have it because we had gotten them from all over to try to make a model for one, and it just didn't pass. They put it to a vote and it didn't pass. But
Yeah.
I'll see if I have some of them, if I still have any of them. 'cause I
That'd be
can't-
great.
get-
I think, to me, the best way to get something like that to happen is that you have to have enough people in the towns that are interested in preserving these trees. That's really
Well,
what
it's
it
the shade- it's the Shade
They
Tree
call them
Commission.
heritage trees in some places. I guess that's what they do in Interlake. And the older, beautiful trees that, that
They
are
have a
in
certain,
good shape.
they're defined by their circumference.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't Ocean Township have one defined by circumference now? I think
No,
Ocean
we got-
Township.
Ours is horrible. We have a horrible
Not
tree.
sure, but I think they do.
You can cut down 4 trees, no questions, no permit.
What was that?
You can cut 4 trees in Ocean Township with no permit, no matter what circumference.
Well,
Like
it's a public
Anyway,
education
and the
campaign.
second thing is that Margot brought up, I think, is about the geese, and that I had done oiling of eggs before some years ago. So I went for the training and everything for it, and so anybody who's interested in egg oiling, I can definitely talk to them about it, and maybe we could get trained again, and I would certainly do it, but we need 3 people to do it.
We have the people to get trained by, so I have that contact for you. You want to handle that?
Me?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, I'll get the contact.
Okay.
Okay, we're running out of time. We got about basically 2 minutes. So
So
anything to talk about?
I just want to say that all these things that we've talked about, they're wonderful things that I just think, again, we need to, try to designate times for people to kind of first break up the workload, the things they want to work on, and then pick some workshop times and pick some workshop. Done, I'm not done yet. And pick some workshop times, put it into our calendar so that we do get these things done, because we can't do them unless we have work time to do them.
We will talk about it at the December meeting, but that's it. I'm done. I have to go to another meeting, believe it or not, Deal Lake. A planning board meeting for the township, dealing with a pool trying to put on a pool complex put into a house on the lake. So they took down a 2-year-old tree and they.
Before you go, Don, I think, Peter, do you want to say something about the meeting?
No, I don't think I'll do it here. I'll do it offline, Jeannie. Thank
Okay,
you.
all
I will-
right,
I'll email.
thank you.
And I'll see Peter and Steve and Jeannie next week.
Yeah,
So,
I'm looking forward to it.
and I'll be sending the agenda out on that shortly, a draft agenda just to you guys to look it over before I send it to the state, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
We'll see you, everybody. Take care.
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, bye-bye.
Thanksgiving.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.